And joining us now for more is someone who will not go quietly into the night. Harvard astrophysicist, the man who has been tracking 3I Atlas since the beginning of July, Dr. Avi Loeb. Dr. Loeb, thanks for being back with us. And we thought this was just bizarre. Can you tell us what happened to the NASA Maven spacecraft? It's been circling Mars for the last 10 years, and then suddenly 3I Atlas goes by it. And now, for the first time in a decade, NASA has suddenly lost contact with Maven. What happened?
Well, the spacecraft went behind Mars when it obviously cannot communicate with Earth. But when it came back, there wasn't any contact, no signal. And NASA is trying to figure out what to do about it. The last scientific data that was valuable that came from Maven was the data from the passage of 3I Atlas close to Mars within 30 million kilometers. That happened on October 2nd. We saw some of the data in the press conference that NASA organized recently, but somehow this spacecraft is not available anymore now.
Yeah, and Maven theoretically would have taken photos of 3I Atlas. Is that correct?
Yes, it did already, and we saw some data from it.
So there you go. And NASA now claims, whoops, well, all of a sudden Maven is gone. We don't have contact with Maven, meaning we can't release those photos publicly. Okay, let's move on. So we're 8 days from 3I Atlas being closest to Earth on December 19th. What are you expecting us to learn next week? Are there going to be new photos released, or are we going to go through this whole thing again with NASA where they delay and lie and delay?
Well, it's not up to NASA. There are hundreds of observatories around the globe that will observe it. It's actually a very fortunate coincidence that the new moon occurs on December 19th when 3 Atlas is closest to Earth. So there wouldn't be any moonlight contaminating the images that we get. There will be also data obtained by the Webb telescope, the Hubble telescope. There are too many telescopes available for anyone to block that data. And what I'm looking forward to is, in particular, knowing the speed of the gas in the jets that we see around the 3 Atlas. One of them is towards the sun, very surprising. We don't see that very often. And if we know the speed and we know the composition of those jets, we can figure out if there are just pockets of ice that are sublimated when exposed to sunlight, or perhaps some technological thrusters.
Okay, Elon Musk was on a podcast with Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller's wife this week talking about UAPs and UFOs. Take a listen.
I don't know if any aliens. People always ask me if there are aliens. I have seen no evidence of aliens.
Does that include UFOs?
That's just an unidentified flying object. So UFOs, like it could be like some new weapons program or whatever. That's, you know, some hypersonic missile or something like that. That would be technically a UFO, but it's just basically some weapons prototype. It's not like aliens.
Okay, Dr. Loeb, I'm going to ask for your opinion. I know you're a scientist, but do you think Elon Musk knows a lot more than he's letting on? How do you get all those government contracts and run SpaceX and not know at least a little bit more than the public?
Yeah, it's surprising because the director of national intelligence, who is supposed to know everything, delivered more than 3 reports to the U.S. Congress in recent years, basically testifying that there are objects in the sky that we don't fully understand. And that means that we don't have enough data to figure out their nature. If they were produced by American companies, we would know about it. The director of national intelligence will not talk about it. But she did. And therefore, I must assume that the government has a problem. It's a problem of national security. You don't expect the Pentagon officials to disclose the information because they don't want to be scrutinized. We are paying $1 trillion a year on the defense budget, and they're not doing their job.
All right, Dr. Loeb, we are going to stay on top of this. That's our promise to the audience. We appreciate you coming back. Next week, we hopefully will know more. What I think is fascinating is the establishment says that you're wrong, and you're not convinced that this is a comet. That's why we're going to stay on top of this story. Dr. Avi Loeb, thanks for being with us